Good afternoon, class. It is Tuesday afternoon, and it is time to take some notes on geometric sequences. You must take good and thorough notes, or you don't want to know what happens. So let's start off with our good note taking. Tonight we're going to take notes on geometric sequences, and of course we want to include our date, which is 2/4/14. We've been talking a lot about arithmetic and geometric sequences, and we've been focusing on arithmetic. So tonight we're going to focus on geometric. So first thing off, before we can do anything with these sequences, is we must determine which kind they are. So looking at our first example here, if this was arithmetic, it should be adding or subtracting by the same number. So I know 4 plus 12 would give me 16. So 16 plus what number would give you 36? And that would be 20. So clearly 12 is not being added each time, so we cannot call this an arithmetic sequence. So we look to see if it's geometric. I know that 4 times 4 would give me 16. So 16 times what number would give you 36? Well, if I did 16 times 4, that would give me 64, not 36. So we can say that this sequence is neither. Tricked ya, didn't I? Thought that'd be geometric because that was the title of the notes, huh? Nope, this one's neither, okay? If it was geometric, we should be able to times by 4 each time and get the next preceding term. So that one's a neither. We couldn't add anything and we couldn't multiply anything, right? Okay, so let's look at the next example here. Here we have -2, -4, -6, -8. Now I know it's not arithmetic because I would have to add a -2 and then add a -6 here, so that's not the same. So I'm going to look at multiplying. If I do 2 times 2, -2 times 2, I get -4. -4 times 2 is -8, and -8 times 2 is -16. So this is a geometric sequence. And the equation is somewhat similar to our arithmetic in that we have, this is still our first term, but instead of calling it a sub 1 for arithmetic, what do you suppose we would call it? That's right, g sub 1. And then instead of this being the common difference, we call this called the common ratio. And then n stays the same. N is the term you're trying to find, or the term you're focusing on. Okay, so we actually have an equation for this. Instead of a sub n, we're going to say g sub n. So geometric sequence of some term. Okay, and then we have g sub 1, which is just like your a sub 1. This is your first term. This time, though, we times this by the ratio, the common ratio, and then it's to the exponent of n minus 1. Now, being this is an exponent, hopefully that tells you what kind of graph it is. Here's your question. What type of function will this make? Or graph, okay? So there's a question I want you to have in your notes for tomorrow. Make sure you have it. Okay, so here, same thing. Let's say I wanted to find the 20th term here. So we'll say find the 20th term. So I'm going to take my equation. It's not going to be g sub n because now I know n is 20. So I want to know the geometric sequence of term 20. I know g sub 1 is -2, so I put that in there. I know my common ratio here is 2. And then I also know that my n is going to be 20 minus 1. Remember, we do that minus 1 because we have to know the term before it before we can get that. I have to know this is -8, so I can times 2 to get the fourth term, -16. So we subtract one term. Okay, so we'll do a little math here now. g sub 20 equals -2, and this is going to be 2 to the 19th. Now, this is going to require a little bit of calculation. So I'm going to go to my calculator here, and I'm going to put it in. I have -2, so hit my negative here. In parentheses, I'm going to have 2. And then the exponent button is this little, looks like an arrow pointing up. We call it the caret. Oops, that's supposed to be a parenthesis. So we raise it, this is the exponent button, to the 19. And then we have our 20th term, which is quite huge. So this is going to go away. Let's see. This is going to be, go away. G sub 20 equals -104. What was the rest of that? 8576. All right. 8576. So you can see it's getting pretty big negative, and it's going down to exponential of 19. So that's a big answer for G sub 20. Okay, so the 20th term will be this big one. All right, so I want you to take this and give it a try on your own. You want to use your equation and then review the video. Rewind it if you need to remind yourself what goes into each one of these. And we will see you in the morning. So you'll have 2 things to do this evening. Answer this question. What kind of function or graph will this make? And see if you can find this to the, let's go to the 12th term. So find the 12th term in that sequence. Good night.